Steve，
你好，
你好吗？
我很好，你呢？
啊，
你好吗？
我也好，谢谢。Changanshi for your time and
嗯，
agreeing to have a conversation with me.
Yes, me too。我也很开心跟你好久没有聊天了，很开心。
对。So, Steve, I think most of our conversation we will keep in English
Okay,
because,
English.
yeah, yes, because I want my students to know more about Chinese language from someone who stays there in China and knows this language, much better than any of us.
Yeah. So you wanna this conversation use English, right? We use English
Yes,
to talk.
yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Mm.
yeah. So, Steve, I think we know each other from past 5 years, right?
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long
Yeah,
time.
yes,
So
yes.
I know many Indian people before, but so our relationship, like our friendship, lasts the longest.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
yes, and I'm actually very happy. And after we contacted each other, we know we did some projects together, right? And it was really as you said, it's really very good. Okay. So,
Mm.
Steve, before I start with my questions, I just want you to give a brief introduction about yourself, like which part of China you are staying and what work do you do, so that our viewers also know about you.
Okay. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Steve. My Chinese name is Sun Liu Yang. So that's my Chinese name. Uh, my family name is Sun, and it is same as the spelling as Sun, like a sun. So it's
Mm.
my family name. Uh, I was born in central China, Henan province. So that's my hometown. But now after graduation, I came to Shenzhen, a very modern and very developed city in China. It's a South China city here. I'm working in a company where I'm teaching English. It's an education company. I'm teaching English. So most of my students are teenagers. I like teaching a lot. And in my spare time, I also teach foreigners Chinese. So I make many friends from abroad, like India, like some other countries. So I like teaching Chinese and English. So that's my job. I really like teaching language. So I meet a lot of friends from different countries, like you from India.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Thank you so much, Steve. Yeah, thank you so much. So I think why we also connect with each other is, as you like learning languages, I also like learning languages. So that could be the one another reason for us to be, gel so well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Steve, I just have a set of questions. So it's not that we have to go as per questions. We can just, whatever you feel like, you please let me know. And if I something else comes to my mind, I'll also ask you.
Okay.
So, yeah, so just to begin with, in India, we have many languages. We speak many languages throughout India. And if people from North may not understand a language which is spoken in South of India, okay, like myself, I am from North of India, and I stay in south of India. So I have learned this language. So I am right now in Karnataka state of India. So I have learned this language. I can understand, but a person who is coming from north will not understand the language of south. So I just want you to know, is this the same case in China as well?
I think it's similar, but there's some difference. Because China and India, both the countries are very big. We are very big countries. We have many people from different, like we have many parts. So there are some difference between different regions. We have dialects, like different province or different regions, they speak differently.
Okay.
So I cannot understand. I'm from North China, but
Okay.
I cannot understand Cantonese. Like I don't understand people from their dialects, speak their dialects, like Shanghai, like Guangdong, like Mongolia. like Xinjiang, so I don't understand that dialects. So
Okay.
that's the similarity between two countries. But I think there's one difference, big difference is that China is we use one language is called 普通话, it's called Standard Mandarin, because in 1950s, 1960s, our government, we promote one language, like it's called, which we want all Chinese people speak one language. It was easier for us to communicate among different regions. So even I think 99% of Chinese, we can speak Mandarin, like we can speak standard Mandarin. So I think maybe that's the difference. We have dialects, we do have dialects, but we
Oh,
have our common language, our
yeah,
shared language. Yes.
right. So you mentioned about 普通话, right?
普通话,对。
Yeah, 普通话. So is it like 汉语, 中文, and 普通话all are same?
No, 普通话 is from the pronunciation side, like perspective from pronunciation. Hanyu covers all the dialects, right? 普通话 is the Hanyu, and dialects will belongs to Hanyu. Hanyu is Chinese, right? Or Chinese is called Hanyu, but 普通话 is very common, like common dialects, like it's one standard dialect for
Okay.
all people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's almost same, but from different perspective.
Okay.
Mm.
So can you give an example of, let's say, one sentence which you can say in Hanyu and you can also say in Putonghua. So
Okay.
if we can make the difference.
Okay. I can say 中国人都说汉语. All the Chinese speak Chinese. 中国人都说汉语.
Okay.
But not all Chinese people speak 普通话, because some old people they cannot speak 普通话, because they don't learn this. They know Chinese, but they don't know standard Chinese.
Okay. Oh. So having said that, Hanyu is older than Putonghua.
It's not, yeah, from Asian countries we have Hanyu, but 普通话 is kind of dialect like spread around China, right? Because before 1950s, not all the people speak 普通话, but every people speak Chinese, but they don't speak 普通话. 普通话 is we use 普通话we want to everyone speak same dialect, so that's called 普通话.
Okay.
Because in my province we speak Henan dialect, and Guangdong people speak Guangdong dialect, but they all Chinese. They are similar or same in grammar or in writing or character, but they're different in pronunciation. So 普通话is to solve this problem. Like when people don't understand each other, we have to use same pronunciation. It's 普通话.
Oh, okay. So Putonghua is basically more of a pronunciation which is understand throughout China.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. That's
Right.
right.
Okay. So another thing, just to mention about Cantonese, right, which is spoken in, I think it's spoken in only in Hong Kong or even in the Shenzhen and all. Also, I think
And yeah, it is actually Cantonese were spoken in Guangdong, it's called Guangdonghua.
yeah.
It's one province, and also Hong Kong is near. All words belong to this city, this province. So Cantonese were spoken in Guangdong and Hong Kong. Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
and it is completely different from Mandarin language, right?
Not completely different, but it's very different in pronunciation, but in character, in grammar, it's quite similar.
Oh, okay.
It's
But the
quite similar.
pronunciation is completely different.
Yeah,
right?
pronunciation is very different. It's very different. I don't understand Cantonese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but its character is same. Its grammar is similar,
Oh,
but the pronunciation is very different.
So you can read Cantonese and understand, but you cannot speak, or you cannot,
Yeah, Cantonese, like I can understand it. Yes, I can understand it by reading, but I cannot understand by listening. I don't understand their listening. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So since its spoken is completely different, Cantonese and Mandarin, if someone knows Mandarin, does it become easy for him or her to learn Cantonese?
I think so because you already know the characters, right? You
Mm,
already know almost all the characters,
mm.
but it's still a big challenge to
Uh,
learn because you have to learn another system of pronunciation. So
pronunciation.
that's the difficult part. That's the difficult part. Even even some Chinese people they want to I want to learn Cantonese because Cantonese looks fashion, it sounds kind of fashion. I want to because uh, in more 20 years back or 30 years back, Hong Kong for mainland China, it was a modern city, right? It was modern city, and
Yes.
mainland China was not so modern, and we admire
Hong Kong
we
people.
admire people who can speak Cantonese. I think we
Oh,
think, oh, they are so modern, they are so different, they are so we admire them,
yeah.
but now people we don't we're equal, we're equal. So we want to learn that, but for some reason,
Mm,
maybe it's still a small challenge. But if you all really want to learn it well, I think it is not a big issue. It is not a
okay.
big problem. It
Okay.
helps if you learn Mandarin. Yeah, it helps to learn Cantonese.
Right, right. So I think, yeah, if you know Mandarin, it definitely helps. But again, you have to put a lot of effort to understand Cantonese or to learn
Yes,
Cantonese.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, Steve, what is your view on, see, when I went to China or when I was in China, I felt
Mhm,
it's very much necessary for me to learn Mandarin. Okay.
mhm,
One
mhm.
thing was definitely I was interested in Mandarin language, or I'm actually good with languages, because even Indian languages I can speak around 3 to 4 in Indian languages I can speak, I can understand. So one was like my inclination to learn Mandarin language. I wanted to learn myself. But what do you think? Is it a foreigner who is living in China or who interacts with Chinese people because of their work, or who visits China because of their work? Is it necessary for them to learn Mandarin, or it's not required?
Yeah, I think if you want to, like, if you're interested in this language or in this country, our culture, or you want to work here, I think uh, it was required to learn the language because China, most of us we cannot speak English very well.
Hmm.
Most of Chinese, not like India. India, most people can speak English,
Hmm.
right? But not like India. We Chinese, we we don't have many people speak English. If you go to the street, maybe only one or two can speak English. So if you want to ask some information like a restaurant or foods or travel, so you need to find a translator or you can speak this language by yourself. It is really helpful to learn this language. But if you want to work here, if it's very big company, many people can speak English, it's
Hmm.
fun. But if you work in a normal company, you have to learn the language. Or if you want to work here, if you want to uh, play out or go outside for some like food or traveling, you'd better learn this language by yourself. And it is it is easier for you to live here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Mm.
I think I felt the same way, because initially, when I didn't know the language, I felt whenever I used to go outside, I was like, I don't know what to say. I wanted to speak, I wanted to tell, but I don't know what to say.
Yeah, yes,
So
yes,
it's, yes,
yes.
I know. As you said, if you are working in a big corporates, big industry or big organization, yes, in there people speak English, no doubt. But again, when you come out of your office, you have to travel in metro, you go to see, visit places, you have to speak with the taxi driver. It's not your English will not work there. And definitely learning this language is going to help you and make you stay more comfortable. That's even I believe that. Now my next question is, if I have to speak with a native Chinese, okay, if I have to understand what he or she is saying, till what level should I learn?
I think level, if we were based on the level structure in HSK, I think if you want to speak very fluently, you have to the fourth level, at least the fourth level. The basic level
Yeah.
Is fourth level HSK 4, but it's not enough. For if you want to like have some daily talk, HSK 4 is enough, but you cannot just learn a book. The textbook is not enough. You have to practice more. You have to practice more. And if you want to cover all many more or more subjects or topics, you have to go deeper, like HSK 5 or 6. But HSK 4 is the basic level, I think, if you want to communicate quite well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And as you said, you have this standard, standard Chinese or standard Mandarin, or what I learned. Suppose someone who learns till level 4. Okay. So till level 4, if someone learns, so in which part of China they can speak with the native speakers, and in which part of China they cannot speak at all, right? Because they don't know even the standard Chinese as well. So are there such places in China?
I think, in big cities, all Chinese can understand you in big cities, but not countryside. Countryside people, the young people, they understand standard English like Mandarin, but for old people, they don't understand. So I think in nearly all the big cities, they can understand you. They can understand all the big cities. They can understand, like even Hong Kong people now, they are learning Mandarin. They are learning 普通话. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So now, from your point of view, what do you think is the most toughest part of learning Mandarin for a foreigner?
For foreigner, most tough parts, I think in the beginning they have to know. I think in all the aspects, they have some challenges, but it depends on different people. Like in the pronouncing part, maybe some many of them are similar to English, or like they can pronounce no problem. They can pronounce it, have no difficulty. But for some, like U sound, maybe it's difficult for foreigners to pronounce. But it's not a big issue. You have to. It's similar. Pinyin is similar to English. I think it's quite easy to learn or to grasp. Um, for the character, I think character part, if for many foreigners, they think, oh, our language is like alphabet, that our language is like ABC, but Chinese language is square language, right? It's like an image, so it's difficult to remember how to write. That's the difficult part, to write the character. It's the difficult part, I think. And for grammar parts, I think Chinese grammar is not so strict. We don't have very strict rules like English. English has very clear rules, like you have to use different tenses for verbs. But Chinese, we don't have many strict or rigid rules. I think it's very flexible. You don't have to learn the way as English. So for grammar parts, I think you have to learn in Chinese way, not English way. You learn some basic grammar. I think it's enough. But I think for speaking part, it's quite different. It's quite difficult because you have to learn from a very good teacher who can speak fluently, or you can learn from a native speaker. So that is helps. So for sentence structure grammar, I don't think it's very you can you should you should learn it in Chinese way. I think the most difficult part is it's word part. It's word to understand the word in different context. So because one word may have different meaning in different context, so you have to really understand how to use the word in different sentences.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's I cannot say which one is the most difficult part, but I think it's different in English. And some people say it's very easy to learn Chinese. Some people say it's so hard. So very different people have a different problem in learning language,
Yeah.
but some people they really can speak this very well. They can grasp it very fastly.
Right, right. I think it varies from person to person. So some people may find it difficult in pronunciation, and some people may find difficult in grammar. As you said, it's very flexible grammar. But since we come from English speaking, so for us sometimes we read the Chinese sentence and we think it's a wrong. It's not correct. It's not a complete sentence actually, right?
Yeah.
Because that simple Chinese sentence we don't use much grammar. So
Yeah.
for us, so it's like I'm saying, many of my students, when they read very simple sentence, right? Like I eat food. So we're not saying, we don't say such sentence in English. I'll say I am eating food. But in Chinese, I'll say I eat food, right? So that part is, yes, definitely it's different. And when it comes to grammar, as you said, that we have to learn grammar in Chinese ways, not in English way. That is very correct, because it's opposite how we say it in English, right? In Chinese language, most of the verbs come at the end, right? So, but again, I can relate it to our regional language. Okay,
Oh.
if I speak a sentence in Hindi, okay,
Mhm.
it's the same how I say it in Mandarin.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
yes, even in Hindi also, I will say time first and then I say verb. Okay. In Hindi also, I will say, place first and then I say verb.
Oh,
So
so that's
yeah,
mm,
yeah. So I think it's very similar. So that's what, whenever I teach my students, I tell them that you have to relate it to your language and then you translate. Don't translate from English, then it becomes difficult.
yeah, that is good to understand in this
Yeah,
way. Yeah, it
right.
helps. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I feel the very toughest part of Chinese language is the tones.
Tones, yes,
Right.
tones, yes,
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 because it becomes very difficult to master tones and say it correctly. It's very
yes,
difficult. Yeah.
yes. So for tone part, yeah, you have to practice. You
Yes.
have to practice, listen more and speak correct.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So, as you said, Steve, that it's very context-based language, and we have to understand the word, how to use the word correctly. So, I just wonder sometimes, because one word has many uses, right? In Chinese language, like if I say the word "kuai," a "kuai" also means currency. It also means a piece of a cake, right? And
Mhm.
it may have other uses as well. So I
Mhm.
just wonder sometime, do Chinese people also get confused sometime with their language?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think so. But we can use some like this thing for humor, like for some word game. You can use this in some like like how to say like humor. This creation. You can use this can create some humor. But most people we don't misunderstand this. But maybe for some very few times it is different because everything has its context, right?
Mm,
So
yes,
you don't have to worry like they may misunderstand you. But for some time, maybe but if you just correct them, so they will
mm,
understand. They will understand for
yeah,
very few time, not very often. So it is cause
correct.
little misunderstanding.
Right, right.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Because you say like 快, you say if you use it as a measure word, you say 1块钱,
Mm,
or like or 1块面包, some bread, a piece of bread, a piece of like some money, or uh, if you use some other sentence, you because you have your context,
yes,
you
yes,
will think that you will think if you will think that it is this meaning, not that meaning.
correct.
So it's easy to tell which meaning you are using.
Yes, even I feel that because
Mm.
based on the context, where I am using kwai as a piece, I will not use kwai as a money. That is
Yes,
very clear, right?
yes,
But
yes.
what happens, like some students, they get very confused. They get very, even tensed. How will we remember? Like same word, you have so many uses. But then I tell them the same thing. It's based on the context. You will understand it, right? So it will never, the same word will come. You will not get confused. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And so for language, you better use it a lot. Like read more, like talk more. You get used to it. You
Hmm.
get used to the uses.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Mm.
Mm. Okay, so Steve, my next question would be, so what is your suggestion for those who want to learn Mandarin language in terms of learning, what methods they should follow, or overall, what are your suggestions?
My suggestion, I think for learning, if you want to learn language, uh, right? I'm teaching
Mm.
English. Uh, of course, you have to be prepared if you want to learn the language because people easily give up because language is not. If you want to learn a language well, you cannot learn it in 2 months or 3 months.
Yes.
So you have to be very patient. Like you
Mm.
have to be patient. Don't give up easily. Like after 3 months, oh, this language is too hard. I don't
Mm.
want to continue. So you cannot learn language, any language. It's
Right.
impossible to learn any language. And I think you should follow the second one is you should follow the correct step, like pronunciation, pinyin, or tones. You have
Follow
to
what? Sorry, follow what?
you follow the correct order, right? Correct
Oh, correct.
order.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
have to know how to read. You
Mm.
have to know how to read, and you can learn writing gradually, like step by step. Don't be worried. Don't be hurry. Like you
Mm.
just do it step by step from easy one to uh, you have to learn the and for grammar part for Chinese, you don't have to learn much about grammar. You can learn the basic grammar. And for the word part is to understand it, try to understand the uses, but you don't have to struggle too much. You just
Mm.
use it and to tell the difference in different context. I think
Right.
you don't have to be really struggling in that in the use. Like, wow, it's so subtle, the difference is so big, I cannot use it. And you don't have to struggle, just feel it in different context and read more and you feel the difference. And also you can ask the teacher to explain to you what's the difference of use. And also learning language, you have to read more. You have to read more, really practice more, read more. If you don't have a foreign or native speaker to talk with, you read more. You read as much as you can,
Right.
and to pay attention to your grammar, to pay attention to your word use, pay attention to your pronunciation, and you have to read a lot, read a lot. And also, if you can output, it is very necessary to output, like to talk with some people who are interested in language as you, to talk with your teacher, to talk with your classmate, try to talk,
Right.
talk more, read more,
Right.
and to watch some movies or the best way is to talk with the native speaker. Yeah, if you can talk with the native speaker continuously, that's the best way to improve your speaking part.
Yes. Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
that's my view.
Yes, and I think just to add on to that, even the listening also we can do, as you said, by watching movies or also
Mhm.
listening, some of the maybe MP4s or whichever, something which is available online that can be listened to understand the, native speakers' pronunciation,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, just when you were talking about the one question came to my mind.
Mhm,
So actually, what happens in level one when we are
mhm,
teaching non-natives, we focus only on the spoken part.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
usually most of the institutes they focus only on the spoken part, that is pinyin part.
mhm.
So what is your view? Is it okay if someone first learns focus only on the spoken part, and if they are going for higher levels, then they start with the Chinese characters as well? Is it the correct way?
I think that's okay. That's okay because yeah, people from India, from Western countries, we used to the like how to say, like ABC,
Ah,
this kind of spelling
right,
that you're not used to the character, right? So like
right.
pinyin, actually there was no pinyin in China. Pinyin was created by following English, right? So the
Mm,
ABC was borrowed from English. So maybe you're used to
mm,
it, this. So you can learn from, you can begin from the pinyin part. That's okay. Or you can like even speak more in with pinyin.
yes.
But don't, I think you have to also in at the same time, you can learn some easy character.
Mm,
And maybe it's not so like ER, right? Like sun or fire, 火 or 水, like some easy character use.
yes.
Because it's interesting to learn this. You
Right.
can just like it's like calligraphy. You know, calligraphy is very important in China. If you can write the character very beautifully, it is good. It is good because you know in China, for Chinese we say 字如其人. It means like the character represents you. If you can write the character very beautifully, you looks beautifully. If
Mm.
you're not beautiful, you cannot write good character. So we care about character a lot. If you
Yes.
can, because it's a culture thing. Learning calligraphy is a very important culture in China. So you can learn some basic one firstly, and gradually you can learn some complex character, and you will know there's some rules between in character. There are some rules.
Mm,
There's some rules in character. Like English, we have different alphabet, but Chinese character also have some rules in it. So I think begin from the easy one, and after some time go to the deeper one or complex one, and do it little by little. Don't be, you know, be patient. Be
yes.
patient. But also you can begin with the pronunciation part. It's okay. It's okay.
Mm. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yes, even I feel when you are learning as a beginner, you start with pinyin and
Mm.
have a some in understanding of Chinese characters as well, so that you know this language more well. And
Mm.
so I believe if someone is going for higher levels, like level 2 or level 3, they should definitely learn Chinese characters. Yeah, so that is actually, as you said, it's actually very interesting
Yeah.
to learn and to
Yeah.
use that.
Because you have to learn Chinese character. You cannot ignore it.
Yes.
Because you have, if you come to China, if you want to read some materials, you have to
Mm,
use it. If
right.
you want to read some contract or materials, you have to read. You
Right.
have to read.
Okay, Steve, I think just a last question from my side. It's not a question, but we just
Mhm.
want, our viewers to know if you can tell some very interesting and important Chinese culture.
Important, interesting
Interesting,
Chinese culture.
yeah, interesting and important Chinese culture.
Important Chinese culture. You know, because I don't know what is interesting for foreigners. Maybe, you know, I think holiday is interesting. A New Year, we have to do different things in New Year, like dumpling, like visit elder people and give a red pocket to young people, to the kids. Uh, Very important and interesting ones. Uh, but I think maybe because I'm living this in this culture, I know what is interesting. I know I'm some interesting part from India. I know other culture is interesting to me, but the here now, I don't think I can. I don't know what is interesting. Maybe for you it's interesting, but for me, I don't. It's not interesting for me.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
when foreigners come to China, they will feel, oh, it's different, it's interesting. But for Chinese people, I cannot think of what is interesting to me. Maybe if we have less work time or like more holidays, interesting. But we have many work to do. We don't have many holidays like as you. So I
Oh,
don't think it's interesting. It's boring. It's tiring to. So I think your culture is more interesting. You have more holidays.
Yeah. Not more, but I don't know. I have not counted, but yeah, maybe. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I think if you go to another culture,
Hmm.
if you find the difference, you will feel it's interesting. You will feel it is interesting. Yes, when I went to India, I think there are many interesting things there.
Yes.
They are different from our culture.
Hmm.
So come to China and experience it. You can find it interesting.
Right, right. Yeah. So we had a plan, right? So we were in China for 3 years. But actually that time our son was very small. I think he was around 4 years or 5 years. But he
Mhm.
still remembers. But we had a plan, a group of our friends who were there in China. So we had a plan to visit again once. So I don't know. I'm looking forward for that, but when that plan will happen, we don't know. But
Yeah,
definitely,
yes.
yeah.
Welcome to come again.
So anything else you want to add on, Steve?
Uh, no, now, like I didn't prepare my question.
Hmm.
Later, if I
Okay,
my question from my side, we can organize another meeting.
sure, sure, definitely,
Yes, yes,
definitely.
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, thank you
Any
so much,
question? Any
Steve.
more question?
Yeah, sorry.
Any question
Oh,
from you?
no more questions. I think we had a good conversation. It's more of I
Yeah,
just wanted to, interact with you. It's been long time as well.
yeah.
So thank you so much for your time again,
It's
Steve.
my
And
pleasure.
I hope we will connect soon again with some other topic. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay,
Okay. Thank you
okay.
so much. Bye-bye. 再见。
再见，拜拜。
见。拜。